Okay, so now your healthcare premium line item in your budget comes to 1272. Is that right? 106 times 12, 1272. Now, at the very bottom of your spreadsheet, you've just picked up 1,124. Awesome. Now, before, when you had money coming in, you would put that into savings. However, you no longer have savings. You no longer have savings when you quit your job. Well, that was my largest expense, right? You've got to share that with people. How much were you saving, remember? Go to your 2024 spreadsheet. Remember? Oh, wait, you can see it on your money map. You've got so many scribbles on here. 2024, you had 21% going to expenses of your income, 9% to discretionary spending, and 70% to savings and investing. And that 70% was, remember, approximately 70,000. Wait, let me add this up. Is that right? Total invested. Yeah. Close to. All these years, for 5 years, 70%, 60 to 70,000, 68,000, somewhere in there. That goes away. That goes away. Right? You've got to share that with people. That's huge. Unlike other people, if they're only saving 5%, 10%, most of their expenses are not savings or discretionary. They're expenses. Most people have expenses of 70, 80% of their income. They need that money. You don't. Why? Because you've been saving it all these years. Amazing. Okay. All right, so back to my budget. As you continue to work on 2025, it's not 100% complete yet. It's about, what percent complete would you say you are? 95%. 95% complete. 95%. Oops. Complete. Yeah. You'll bump that up in the next couple of weeks. Then you have to remember, you've got to get this off of this laptop onto your other laptop. Okay. All right, so let's see. Continuing on with your budget, you got to get out there and start walking, Evan. Cheers. Okay. Monthly expenses. Condo association, electric, that's it. No, sorry. Condo, electric, healthcare premiums. You're going to have to fund healthcare for 6 years to age 65 for the benefit of retiring early. back to the topic of Trump. If the ACA goes away, you have to be prepared to pay an additional $8,000 to $10,000 per year, Mr. Evan. And if you go buy another condo somewhere else and have all these expenses, you may be upset with having to do so. I don't know. You just read an article yesterday that said that they may reduce the benefit, but I doubt that ACA would go away completely, the Affordable Care Act. That would be devastating for a lot of people. But anyway. Okay, so you've got condo association, electric health care. That comes to $10,000 a year. So what you're going to do is you're going to put about $837 into your checking account from, remember, your savings account at Ally Bank. That's going to be, you're going to fund your first year of retirement with short-term reserves. You'll deal with 2026 later. But for 2025, oh, the other thing, yeah, remember your dinner with Michael the other night? You learned a lot. Here's what you learned. And you kind of knew it anyway, but the government says in order to qualify for health care credits, which, by the way, Biden extended the Obamacare to the end of 2025, so you're good. Excuse me. But in order to qualify, you have to show income of at least, $15,000 a year, maybe $16,000. So you have all year to figure that out. But by the end of the year, the only account you have in retirement, remember your new Fabulous Four is going to be what? Your new traditional IRA at Vanguard that you're opening because you're bringing your 401k over for the pre-tax bucket. You've got your Roth, which is now going to be your existing Roth and the 401k Roth, your house savings account, and your taxable account. The taxable account is the only account that you can sell shares to qualify as income by the end of 2025 to the tune of about $15,000 in order to then settle up, because you're going to get those credits every month for health care. Then when you do your taxes at the end of 2025, if your income was a lot more, you have to pay those credits back, and you don't want to do that. Now, remember, in 2025, you're going to have some income from your job. One paycheck, maybe two, probably 1.5, because your last working day is going to be January 10th. So, as you go into 2025, you'll just have to figure that out, sell just enough shares, and then you can take that money. Oh yeah, you know what else you learned? This is so interesting. Okay, so of my taxable account that you created at Vanguard, remember you and Michael clicked on the button. Of one of the funds within that account, there was $86,000 of capital gains. That's a lot. However, you have to pay tax on that. So when you have to take enough money out, I think it was $40,000, in order to show $20,000 of capital gains that then apply to income, something like that. Anyway, you'll figure that out. It gets a little complicated. Why did I even quit my job early? This is just too much. I should have just kept working. Yeah, no. Don't be foolish. Don't be silly. Just think of all those years you don't have to work. So many of your friends are going to be working until they're probably 67, 70. Anyway, you did all this work so many years. You've got to quit your job. You can't turn back. You have to write your retirement letter. Don't forget. Anyway, so $10,000 for your monthlies. Now remember, food, gas, and fun, those line items in your operating budget are going to go to that 0% credit card. Cool. you know what? I'm going to err on the side of caution and keep your operating budget as low as it can be. Why? I don't know. Because you're just frugal. That's the way you are. You can't change now. Why would you? Instead, keep your operating budget super, super low, knowing that you can always spend more. Remember your Vanguard guy? He said you could spend up to $3,000 a month. Well, even more, really. 3,000 times 12, 36,000. And what's your budget? Well, yeah, let me get back to this because remember you just picked up 1,100. Okay, focus, Evan, focus. Focus. Don't lose it. Don't lose it right now. You have to go on your walk. Okay, so food, yeah, you bump that back to 120 a week. However, there's probably a lot of pickup opportunities. Pickup opportunities. What are pickup opportunities? Pickup opportunities are opportunities in your operating budget that you can pick up. Yeah. And then you can filter that money into another bucket for fun if you want, and or just not spend it. But remember, you have no longer savings in retirement. Interesting. Anyway, so 120 gas, 15 a week, that's cool. So that's 780. 6240 is food. Now here's where you need to keep it super low. Yeah, the other day you bumped this up. That was fun. You had fun spending it on paper, but now let's bring it down to the lowest common denominator. I don't know. That sounds stupid, but the lowest it could possibly be. That's why you created your 40 a week line item in your budget, remember, years ago. That's a baseline. I know I'll probably spend at the end of the year at least 40 a week on things like going out to dinner, etc. So go ahead and you're going to leave that because you're used to doing that. And then remember, you bring down your food, gas, fun. That's $175 that you have every week to spend. And sometimes you spend it more on food than on gas because you don't really go anywhere, right? Why'd you buy that new car last year anyway? That Mazda CX-5. You really didn't have to do that. You could have kept your Mazda 3 at least 2 or 3 more years. So, yeah. But I like Caroline. Anyway. So, let's see. Let's go ahead and rework these line items real quick. So 2080 stays the same. You already bought the cruise, $1,000. In February, you just haven't put it in your budget yet. Why? Because it's on your 0% credit card. The first time you have to make a payment to that is going to be January 1st. That's when the payment is due. So that'll come out of this money. But you don't have to log it yet. What's the bigger picture before that? The bigger picture before that is we're going to keep your fun as low as possible. So you got your 2080, leave the 960, that's 80 a month, fun 2. It's fun 3 that you need to bring down. Probably not necessary. Because why? Your new concept is to keep your budget as low as possible. So that means, should I just take away fun 3 altogether? No, that's ridiculous. Remember, most years in the past, you were spending at least, I think it was about 4,000 to 5,000. You may have YouTube income of 1,000. Perhaps, so why don't we bring this back down? Well, let's just zero this out. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. There you go. So now, okay, don't forget your yearly expenses. You talked about your monthlies. Condo, electric, healthcare premiums. The yearlies, condo association, property tax, car insurance, and cell phone. 4. You have 3 monthlies, 4 yearlies. Remember, one of those yearlies is actually 2 flood policy and your homeowner's insurance, so whatever. In the line item is 4, so 3 and 4. Just always remember that. 3 monthlies, 4 yearlies. So you need to bring money into your checking account for the yearlies when they're due. Got it. So how much money is in your operating budget at this point? $23,516. That is, the wild card really is the fun line items. Fun and other. $20.80 and $960. How much is that? If you add those up, you get $3,040. I need to bump that up a little bit. There's no way you can get to the end of the year spending $3,040 on fun and other, because you just took away $960 already for the cruise. I want to make that $5,000. So that's an additional $1960. $1960 divided by 12 is roughly $163. So let's remember, you're building your budget. This is the fun part. Okay, 163. 163. It's always fun building the budget, spending money before the year comes, right? Yeah. And then you can just erase it out if you don't like it. 163. 163. 163, 163, 163, 163, 163, 163, 163, 163, and 163. Column N now says 1956. Is that right? 163 times 12 is 1956. Congratulations, you can add. So now, your expenses in retirement, including fun and other, is 25,472. Because now fun equals, fun equals, gosh darn it, I can't. There we go. About 5,000. It's 9,446, whatever. $4 off. So 25,000, almost 20, okay, 26,000. That's, wow. How many people go into retirement and say, I really only need $26,000? Well, remember, that could be more if you lose healthcare premiums. But what's 26 plus 8? If you need 8,000 more. It's only 34. And you can spend up to 36, remember, your Vanguard guy? And you can even spend more based on the spreadsheet, up to 50,000 a year, according to those Monte Carlo simulations. Because why? You're going to take Social Security at 62, and that's going to be $20,000. Really? So Social Security could really pay most of your expenses. Unbelievable. Evan, you've got to believe in yourself. Stop thinking that you're Poe. You're not Poe. You're wealthy. It's going to take a while. All right, so on the right, though, now you've got 4528 as an overage. Why? Because, it's so funny, because right now in retirement, your income is kind of like, in your budget, is really non-essential. I don't know what I'm talking about. You still need the money coming into your checking account to pay for these expenses. But in years past, when you're building your wealth, here's the difference. When you were building your wealth, you tried for so many years to get expenses down so that you could get your savings up. And every year, you would take that additional money from the income and put it into savings. Well, now, I'm not going to take $4,500 and put it into another bucket to spend. Why? Why would I do that? You're going to reduce the need. Right? Absolutely. Okay, so what do I need to do? I need to take away this number. So the number you're showing over here for in is really offset by the monthlies the stuff going to the credit card temporarily that should then pay off a little bit later. Smart, as long as the savings rate, the interest rates on savings accounts is still relatively high, which it probably will be, at least for another year. And then your yearlies. So what you have on the right in column O, remember column O is your income. Income. You said it before, $10,000 for the monthlies. For the food, gas, and fun, now the total is now $12,000. Perfect. Why is that perfect? It's perfect because your credit line on your 0% credit card is $12,000. 6240, 780, 2080, 1960, and 1956. Remember, that's food, gas, and fun 1, 2, and 3. That equals $12,000. All right, so as you go through 2025, right, what you're going to do is you're going to put food, gas, and fun on your credit card, just like you did in 2024, which is why you have $12,000 you need to pay off by February to close out 2024. Now for 2025, you're going to do it again. As I mentioned, you're rambling, I know. And then you're going to pay all that off. So you really only need, well, you'll have the $12,000. So showing in your operating budget, yes, your expenses. Oh, wait a minute. You have, what am I doing wrong? Let me do this again. $12,016 really. Okay, $12,016. $12,016. But the yearlies, you didn't make an adjustment there. What's going on? The yearlies equal $45.40. All right, Evan, focus. Why do you have an underage or overage? Your expenses are $25.4. You're showing $26 over here. What's going on? Oh, you forgot to add up these. Your monthlies are no longer $10,040. They're $89.16. Is that right? Yes, of course. Wake up. You have to get walking. But your monthlies just went down significantly. Why? Your condo association that you just figured out earlier you saved, what was it, $400, remember? Yeah. And then, of course, healthcare premiums. If it turns out to be $106 a month, which Michael, that's what his is, so mine should be the same. You'll figure that out next week. If that comes to fruition, you just reduced your budget from $10,000 to $8,916, which is the 1124. So over here on the right, you now put in, was it 8926? 8926? No. Come on, Evan, focus. The monthlies are now 8916. 8916. 8916. Perfect. Now your expenses match your income of $25,472. I think that's going to be a final. Well, not yet. You're 95% complete. You cannot complete your budget until when? What else do you need to know? The only thing you need to know is healthcare premiums. Once you nail that down, you're going to bring your operating budget up to 100% complete, and you're going to release it on January 1st. So $25,472. $25,472 is the new number. Now here's what's interesting. Of that $25,472, how much cash do you really need for 2025? Well, you obviously need the 8916. Oh, let's go ahead and divide that by 12. 743. So a little while ago, remember when you said you needed $837 a month? You don't. You need $743. every month you'll put $743. It's going to be a little bit more. Why? Because you'll have to pay minimum payments on the 0% credit card. Yeah. So every month, though, you're going to figure out what that number is, but it'll be approximately $743 or to $800. You also do not need money for the $12,000 to the credit card, but you're going to reduce it from the operating budget as if you were spending it, but you're not. You're putting it on the credit card. So it'll remain in a bucket until you pay it off. So you'll show it here, but you don't need the cash. You're only going to need the 8916 plus the yearlies of $45.40, right? Because that was condo association insurance, property tax, car insurance, and cell phone. Evan, you only need $13,456 in cash next year. But remember, as the year goes on, you're going to have to sell more shares. You'll deal with that later in order to settle up to get the healthcare credit. If you lose that credit, meaning, let's say you go get a part-time job or something, if you're going to show all this other income, you're going to lose $900 a month. You'll have to pay back $10,000. So, at least for 2025, you have to take money out of your taxable account, probably about $40,000, remember, because you need $20,000 in capital gains to show as income, but you can put that in a CD if CDs are getting a lot of interest, or you can do whatever you want with that money. You'll still have it. Your net worth will be the same. You're just moving the money around in order to qualify to get the credit. Now, 2026 going on, 2026, 27, 28, 29, 30, for 5 years, right? Before you get to 65, age 65, 1966. 1960 plus 65. What year? 2031. Yep. So 2026, 27, 28, 29, 30? Wait, no. Did I do that right? 1966 plus 65. 20. That would be the first year, 2031. Anyway, you're getting confused. It's about 5 years that you'll continue to have to pay your own health care until Medicare kicks in, but then you still pay Plan B, but you'll deal with that later. That's relatively inexpensive. This is a really good plan. All right, Evan, focus. All right, what else? I think that's about it. You're going to do your episodes this week. You're going to edit those. You didn't go through all of your mail. What is all this? No, I don't want to chase credit card. No, I don't want cable. And I've got to turn this in. Okay, so you need to get out there and start walking. Is it light out yet? Not really, it's not raining either, so that's good. All right, shut this down. Okay. Evan, I think you're ready to go. So, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the wealthiest one of all? You are.